Hi everyone, it's Kate Milliken and we are here with another one-on-one, and I am here to introduce you to someone who I feel I've known for a long time, although literally I've only known her for a few months now. But I want to introduce you to my friend Karen Duffy. And Karen is here talking to us right now. Some of you may recognize her, if you're as old as I am, as a former MTV VJ, a Revlon model, and an all-around pop culture icon. And I'm really excited to have Duff here, A, because I've always respected her personally, but because her world has taken a bit of a different turn and has walked into the realm of chronic pain. And I want Duff to tell you more about that. So why don't we start, Duff? Welcome. I'm so psyched to have you here. It definitely feels a little surreal. Mm-hmm. Let's talk, and I would love for you to let everybody know how your world actually personally stepped into the world of chronic pain. How did it become part of your life?
You know, I was working as a VJ, and I was, I had a career working in entertainment as a journalist and as an actress. And all of a sudden, I just had like a headache that you just know is bad news. So that was almost 20 years ago. I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis of the central nervous system. And that's really one of the rarest forms of sarcoidosis, which is an autoimmune disease that often mimics MS. It's kind of in that MS category. And because it's a neurological impairment, your skull is a contained environment. And I had a granuloma that just grew so big. Actually, it was the size of this pen in the back of my head. And it just grew that it crushed all the nerves in the back of my, in my central nervous system and medulla. And I just had no idea that one day I would get a headache and that it would never end. And that's been the journey I've been on, is how to manage an amazing life living with chronic pain. And I've learned some things that I think have been game-changing in the way that I manage my illness. And one is, I think the most important thing is that pain is inevitable. We will all suffer pain. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. So before I even wake up in the morning, when I'm in bed, like the pain detonates on the left side, on the right side of my head, and then down to my ulnar nerves, to where my fingers are collapsed into like a broken claw, and my head is like a broken Pez dispenser. So I just lay in bed and I take very powerful pain medication, and I don't lament this quiet time as I wait for the medicines to work. I kind of, when I have my medicine in my hand, I think of my neurologist and how when I was, partying at the University of Colorado in Boulder and skiing it at Two for Tuesdays, he was really studying in order to find a way to deal with chronic pain.
To make you feel better.
Yeah. And you know what's amazing, Kate, is pain it's very shameful in a way. I mean, it's very embarrassing to live with chronic pain, really for any chronic illness. We have these expectations of ourselves where, we hold our ideas and we want to be, and all of that changes with an illness. And, I believe that there is an upside to having your life turned upside down. And I've been able to kind of find a whole new world, a whole new life, and coexist with chronic pain.
Duff, how have you actually manifested taking that pain, which is very real, but very targeted and finite to you, and transforming it into something productive in a bigger world?
Well, it's interesting. I would say that there's pain that hurts you and pain that changes you. And chronic pain is the pain that changes you. Now, acute pain, the kind of accepted diagnosis. Acute pain is anything for 3 months. So it's usually like a bone break or a tissue, and it's visible. There's usually some cause of your acute pain, and it eventually will resolve. Chronic pain is not, you can't witness it through the naked eye. Chronic pain doesn't usually show up on scans because it's nerve related. And one of the things that I hope to do with my life is reach out to the 113 million Americans who live with chronic pain. And it's often called an invisible illness, and kind of say like, hey, we see this is a huge problem. And it is my goal to kind of help serve others who are also in the same boat that I am. There's so many of us.
What have you found as a result of, in your own journey, as a result of making this decision? You've been incredibly public, ranging from speaking tours to writing an incredible first book. You've got another second book on the way. What have you found has been the reaction from the people that you meet?
It's funny. I'm going to Washington tomorrow to give a speech. And I think it's about being open and saying like, listen, if I can do it, anybody can. And I would say in 20 years, I've really, the negative response, even in the, devil's cesspool of internet comments, I would say maybe it's been 3 or 4. And I'm tough. And listen, I mean, I've been through the ringer. I mean, once you live with a chronic illness and chronic pain, you realize how tough you are, and that it is impossible for me to feel embarrassed or ashamed, because the only time I will feel shame or embarrassment is if I have been cruel or unkind. And then I'll immediately try and, make it right and apologize. But that's the only time I'm going to feel shame. I'm not going to feel shame for having this illness. I'm not going to feel shame for having to wear a pain patch. Or for having to take opioids, which are, so misunderstood. So I won't feel shame. And that's something that I want to share as well.
And on some level, it appears to me that, one of the things I think that was interesting when you and me were lucky enough to get acquainted through a mutual friend is this whole idea of choosing to be public facing in a time of enormous vulnerability and the positive that comes out of that. So in light of you having the ability and the strength and the lack of shame to spread your own message, what is your feeling about other people talking about their experiences? Why is it important? And do you think it is a healthy choice to do?
Well, I always think it's a very healthy choice to be as courageous as you can. And that is different for everybody. Some people have like a cataclysmic fear of public speaking, and for them to make a video sharing their experience or to publicly say, that's huge. I believe that the only way to feel good about yourself is when you're helping others. And I feel that I have been successful on a small scale of trying to reach out. One of the things that I do is this year, with so much hate, and I can't even look at Facebook because you're just so negative. I just like, you know what? I'm just going to come from gratitude. And that's going to be my, like in 2017, I'm going to start with gratitude. And I write a thank you letter every day. And I wrote a thank you letter to every pharmaceutical company that makes the drugs that keep me alive. Just saying, thank you. Thank you for making this. You've given me a life that I never thought I could have. And the response was really incredible. I guess pharmaceutical companies don't get a lot of fan mail. So that's something that, they said, like, can we share this with our researchers? And I was like, absolutely. I want to talk to the research scientists, the people who make this, so they can, we'll have a dialogue.
Right. And I think that that is like such a wonderful example of the personal story and the power of the personal story, especially somebody, whether they're continuing to get better or feel appreciation in the face of pain. So Duff, talk to me about when we first met and I pitched you the whole idea of MyCounterpane. What were your original thoughts about what it was compared to how it's felt in the past few months of getting to know it?
Well, it was funny because I was really charmed and taken with your passion. But secretly, I will tell you, in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, I really hope it's not like a support group where it's a bunch of my experiences in support groups. They are possibly great for other people, but to me, it just felt like an open mic night for pain. And what is amazing about MyCounterpane is the generosity of spirit. Like, it is exactly the opposite of what I thought. I thought, oh, it was probably going to be like people whinging and and being upset about like not being seen. But instead, it's been transformative because I feel like the people who are drawn to MyCounterpane are sharing, and that they're sharing what they know, they're listening, and it is so far removed from any type of, you know, caterwauling or there's really no self-pity. It's a really powerful, I mean, I love like checking and seeing what other people are doing. Like if they're having a bad day, I just want to be like, you know, boom, I'm thinking about you, or, you know, you may be having a really bad day. I've been there and it does get better. And that's quite joyful, is to share that. And I think another thing is that it's very safe. I was on Fox Health and talking about sarcoidosis, which is a disease I have. And I would say like the little clip went viral, but like the number of people who had no idea who was calling me a junkie. I was like, oh, I just don't want anyone else to have to go through this. I can handle it, but I just wouldn't want anyone else. And what I think that is so beautiful about MyCounterpane is it is secure and safe. And not only are you helping others, but you also are helping yourself by tracking the mood to see where you are and where your milestones are. And I believe that checking in is an unbelievable tool for self-help. And that's what we have to do. We're kind of on our own.
Right. The power of retrospection.
Yes.
So here we are with our 2.0 platform, formally launched. By next week, I think we will be in a really good place in terms of rolling smoothly. And you and I are rolling out mycounterpane.com/chronic pain. What are your goals with being a key influencer with this community?
Well, I think the number one goal is getting the word out there, is getting 113 million Americans live in chronic pain. And you would think, you know, with smoking or diabetes, there'd be this great national, you know, effort to talk about it. But you know what we have? We have MyCounterpane. And this is it. So I think my first goal is to get the word out, is to be an evangelist, to get people to know that there is a way to track and what you're feeling, and then share it, but also be of service to others, because when they hear your story, you are helping. And, you know, I totally believe the only way we feel good about ourselves is when we can be in service to others. It's not just about us.
I will say I totally agree. And I think that no matter what the example is, and I think anyone can think of precedents in their own lives, that you just feel different when you are taking yourself outside of yourself and putting your attention elsewhere. You know, one of the things I'll say, even in my conversations with you, Duff, is obviously understanding the MS space, because I've lived it and now fancy myself kind of a prosumer in the in that world, is, you know, I would say even in the past couple months of really understanding and getting a new perspective on, you know, what pain is, right? I think that if you don't fully understand it, how much you can learn from someone who's lived it, who's able to be emotionally honest. So I'm super excited to come in and be able to watch people as they articulate and watch people as they really come together to feel better. Last question for you is, do you feel, in light of all the work you've done with your amazing book and your amazing speaking tours, do you feel like you're healing yourself?
You know, I do feel that it is a reason to get up every day. And there are days that it is really hard. And if I can, you know, just engage in the world by posting on MyCounterpane. I had a really rough week. And the fact that I could, you know, go on MyCounterpane, see other people, write down what was happening, I felt that it was a bit of a service. I feel like I am like an old hand at being ill. And what I want to kind of do is, like, you know, some people are new to the world of infirmity. I've been living here a long time, and it is possible to have a beautiful life. And we become what we think about the most. And so often, if you're just thinking, "Oh, my neck hurts. Oh, I can't wear a bra. You know, I can't have hair touch me." I mean, air hurts. And when you can go on a site and see somebody who's had that experience, you feel seen. And I think that that is so powerful. I believe, you know, I believe in the Stoic philosophy that, you know, we can't change, you know, we can't change what happens. We can only change how we respond. So as much as I wouldn't wish chronic pain on my worst enemy, but I have it and I have to live with it. So the only thing I can do is respond. And if I can respond in a positive way by leaving videos and messages on my MyCounterpane and reach this community, then that gives me a sense of peace and a sense of gratitude that I can somehow be of service. And I spoke to my doctor and I was like, I see this amazing, my neurologist, and I also see a woman who is a psychologist. She really just focuses on chronic illness in women. And I told her about my chronic pain, and she was like, this is more powerful than a one-on-one with a professional. Because when you can speak within your peer group, that has amazing power and tremendous healing. And I'm going to be speaking to patient ambassadors this weekend. And just to say thank you. So much is, we're in the same boat, but thanks. Thanks for hearing me. Thanks for seeing me. And what have you done? And that's what's unbelievable. You've done a great job. And this new platform is so simple. I mean, I would say
you have strong
an intentional agnostic towards.
Yes, you have strong points, but it's seeming that you say self-admittedly that tech is not one of them. Fair statement? Yes, okay. But I'm glad.
If I can do it, anybody can.
Right.
Yes.
That's awesome. Duff, you've been amazing. I am so excited for our journey together with MyCounterpane Chronic Pain. And for all the viewers watching us now, Duff will be coming back, doing some of these webcasts, I hope, with people that she loves and knows, respects, and has learned about in her world of chronic pain. You're awesome in your MTV studio / living room. I love it. And I thank you so much for your time.